Welcome to the Quick Start Programming Guide, presented by Team 11053. My name is Ibn and I will be hosting this series. This is the first video of the Quick Start Programming Guide. In this guide we will be covering various topics, namely how to set up a hardware map, write a teleop and make a basic autonomous. All the programs will be written for a small 2-motor free-wheel robot. This video is about the hardware map. A hardware map is the interface between your program and your hardware. It helps to interpret data from sensors and give commands to motors and servos. Most of the time, example programs will include the hardware map as part of a teleop or autonomous, as is done by the first example programs. However, I prefer to do this as a separate class to ensure that any changes made to the hardware configuration is carried through to both the teleop and autonomous simultaneously. This makes it easier to keep track of changes, especially if you are a new programmer. Before we get started, I would like to mention that first includes some great example programs to get everyone started. So take a look at them and read through the explanations if you are unsure about anything. Let's get started. Create a new class in your team code file and call it anything descriptive. You can, however, not call it the hardware map because that is a term already defined in one of your imports. Between the public class and package, import these three statements. This is for the linear op mode, DC motor and hardware map libraries. For simplicity, we will not be including any sensors or servos on this robot. After importing these three libraries, you need to add extends linear op mode to the public class. This will extend the linear op mode library and tell the program to allow commands from that library to be used. Next we will add some motors. These are variables that need to be declared under your extends linear op mode statement. The DC motor statement tells the program to take commands from the DC motor library and apply them to this variable. You cannot create variables with multiple words as a name, but underscores can be used. Alternatively, you can use uppercase and lowercase letters to distinguish between the words. Next, add the hardware map master config to tell the program to add the hardware map library to this master config. Do not add anything to the public first hardware map, because this program will not be an executable program such as a teleop or autonomous. You will, however, need to create the public void init hardware map method. This is the method that will be called in other programs to initiate the hardware map. In this method, you will write the following lines of code. Master config equals a master config to define the master config as a master config. Next you will add the left and right motors and add the master config statement, telling it to draw the following commands from the library. These commands are .getDCMotor.class. This tells the program it is working with a DC motor. Then add a name for this motor. This name should match the name in your config on the robot controller. After that, you can add parameters to your variables, such as set direction reversed in case you want the motor to move in the opposite direction when power is set to 1. This is useful for using one variable to control the power of multiple motors mounted in different directions. Then set a 0 power behavior. This is important for autonomous as it sets the behavior of the motors when no power is applied to it. You can find out more about this by right-clicking on it and going to Declaration and reading up about it there. After this, you are done with your hardware map. In the next video, we will talk about how to import this into a teleop and use it to program. Good luck to everyone watching and I hope to see you next time.